What's up guys, OJ here, and we are back with another Xenoblade Chronicles video. This time, I'm going to address something that I get literally at every single live stream. For those who don't know, your boy here is a big Xenoblade Chronicles fan. I have all the different Xeno games, pretty much every single one of them ever made. So this isn't just Xenoblade. We're talking Xenogears, we're talking Xenosaga, we're talking all the Xeno games. I'm a big fan, but Xenoblade just has that special touch to it. So I always want to talk about different things, but this has been a conversation, has been an argument, has been a topic of discussion for so long on the channel. I wanted to finally address this in a regular video in the best way that I can and just make it very direct and obvious. Now, I did make a video saying why I love all four Xenoblade games, and we're talking about Xenoblade Chronicles, the original, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, the Golden Country. I am counting that as a standalone separate game, and I love all of them, but that wasn't enough for some of you guys. A lot of you guys still come on and ask me, what Xeno game should I play? What should I invest my time into? Xeno games can be very intimidating for a lot of players out there, and they want to make sure that they play the right one first. But I think it really kind of comes back to the recent Xenoblade games, because Xenoblade Chronicles, the original, that game, there's been tons of time for people to play. So a lot of people have already played that game in some way, shape, or form, whether it's on the new Nintendo 3DS or on the Wii or even the Wii U. There's multiple different avenues to get that game and play it. But Xenoblade Chronicles X, that seems to be the most interesting topic of the discussion. And there's also another topic with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 versus Torna. What should I play there? Which one's better? Blah, blah, blah. So we'll talk about all of that, because I think the second topic point is silly, which I discussed in a recent PE Live. Make sure you guys check those out. We do stream daily right here on PlayerEssence. But Xenoblade Chronicles X, is it worth a Wii U purchase? Because this game is only on the Wii U if you're not going to do some type of emulation on PC or anything like that. It's only on the Wii U. And as many of you guys know, with the Wii U, not a lot of people bought that system. About 13 point something million people, not even 14 million people have the Wii U system. So Xenoblade Chronicles X is looked at as somewhat of a rarity among the Xenoblade games, because the original Xenoblade was on the Wii. That's 100 million units, and it's also on the Wii U as well, so you can play Xenoblade there. And it's also on the new Nintendo 3DS, which has over whatever, like 30 million or however many million people that bought the new Nintendo 3DS. So it's popular enough to where people played it on various systems. Obviously, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the Switch pretty much outsold the Wii U in the first year that it was around, so more people have access to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at this point. So people always ask, well, should I just wait? Is there going to be a port? Because there's been so many Wii U ports. We've pretty much gotten everything. There's only a few more games. Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Wonderful 101, and Xenoblade Chronicles X. And everyone always asks me, should I buy a Wii U to play this game? And here is my honest opinion on this, guys. And just because it's tough, should you go out there and spend the $200, $300 or whatever it costs for a Wii U at this point, because they're not in regular circulation, to play Xenoblade Chronicles X? Yes, if you have to play the game immediately. If you picked up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and you played Torna, the Golden Country, and you played the original Xenoblade Chronicles, and you need your Xeno fix, if you've played all of those, beaten all of them, gotten everything that you can get, or if you're done with those games, absolutely. If Xeno is a game that you know that you want to get into and you need to play it, you need something to play and you want to spend the money to do so, I would say yes, absolutely. It's worth the purchase of a Wii U by itself to play the game, because you still can pick up a Wii U and have access to the virtual console games, right? That's something that the Wii U does better than the Nintendo Switch at this point. It's got a way better virtual console. And also you have access to stuff like Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is not on the Nintendo Switch at this point, and also the Wonderful 101 too, and Super Mario Maker 2, that's coming out later this year, but you can still have access to Mario Maker if you wanted to have access to that game. But basically, there's still a few more games on there that you can play on the Wii U, and like I said, that upgraded virtual console. So is it worth it? Yes, only if you want to get into some of the other stuff that I talked about and that you cannot wait. Now, here's what I think overall, my own point of view. I think that pretty much all of the best Wii U games are going to end up on the Nintendo Switch. We have got the recent news that Monolith Soft said that, hey, they're not sure if they were able to get Xenoblade Chronicles X on the Nintendo Switch just because of the cost of porting. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It's just there's not anything right now at this point. Now, there's been some rumors and murmurs, even dating all the way back to before the Switch launched, that Xenoblade Chronicles X was going to be a game that was ported over. So you can't sit here and say, at least I can't sit here and say with 100% certainty, oh yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X is never going to be ported over, because there's just been so many games. So if you're willing to play other things, and this here has so many other things on the Nintendo Switch, right? There's a ton of different games coming out, especially recently. If you're watching this in April, there's just so many games coming out and so many RPGs and great games. Are they as good as Xenoblade Chronicles X? Subjective, right? You got Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age, you got Final Fantasy X/10-2. There's a lot of cool stuff, but here's what I'll say about Xenoblade Chronicles X. It's one of the most unique and innovative open world action RPGs that I've ever played. I don't think there's another game like Xenoblade Chronicles X. And I don't say that very often with games, because this game is nuts. The way that you can go into your mech, fly around, combat on the ground, and also in the mech. You can team up with friends online and play. There's no other mech RPG like this, to where it has the combination of on the ground and also in the air with the mechs, and the type of combat this game has. It's ridiculously unique, and it's such a weird Wii U game considering how it was made and basically the type of data packs and what it does, the installing, the optional stuff that you can do. It's such a different type of game, and it's definitely worth it if you want to get into that and you can't wait and you see all the gameplay videos and you really want to play it. Then I'd say yeah, it's worth it. But like I said, I can't sit here and say that there wouldn't be a Switch port at some point, just because all these other games are getting ported over. I don't have any information on when it's going to come or if it's even going to happen in the first place, but it's always a possibility that you have to sit there and say, yeah, that could definitely happen. So you might want to wait for the Switch version of the game. And I'll be completely honest, guys, if there is a Switch port of the game, you will lose some functionality, I guess, with like the map and stuff, but I think overall it might be a bit better, just because you won't have to constantly look down at the controller if you want to use a pro controller. This is one of those games where you're not going to play in short bursts, you're going to play in long bursts. So it would be nice to be able to use a regular controller and not have to use the gamepad, and be able to play the game for extended periods of time with a controller that lasts for more than 3 to 5 hours or whatever the case is, not constantly charging the controller, because that was the issue that I had. And also they didn't have like the on-screen stuff, so if your Wii U gamepad broke, you actually couldn't navigate through some parts of the game. That was the unfortunate thing about it. So I think a Switch port would be really good, and I think a lot of people would really like that if there was one. So that's my thought process, guys. I would say if you've got other stuff to play, definitely wait. But if you can't wait, then pick up a Wii U and get the game. But it could be ported over, guys. Keep that in mind, because so many games have already been ported over from the Wii U. A lot of the best games, and this one could be one of the games that's ported over as well. Now, getting into this last topic here, this is something that has recently come up in a couple different streams here and there, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles 2 versus Torna the Golden Country. Which one's better? Which one you should play first? All this other stuff. And I almost see this as the Spider-Man meme, where they're pointing at each other. Yes, these games are fundamentally different. Yes, they're standalone, blah, blah, blah. They have a different combat system. We know some of these things about these two games. However, you kind of need each other, right? They kind of need each other. They're pointing at each other. They're the same thing, because you need Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country to fully enjoy everything in there. You need to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2. To fully enjoy and everything in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, it'd be great if you played Torna the Golden Country. In my opinion, it should be looked at as something that works in tandem together. Yes, they're separate and individual, but at the same time, they work together to overall achieve a greater goal of the experience of the end user. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It's about that experience. It's about what you get fully with the story. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna the Golden Country, along with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, are so much better enjoyed when you just not worry about which one's better or the gameplay mechanics or whatever the case is, but just play both of them. Now, yes, there are some really cool things about Torna, streamlined things that I think make it a better game when it comes to the refined combat of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. They did add a lot of great things and make it better, but Xenoblade Chronicles 2 just has that pure, raw amount of content that you're going to want as an RPG fan and as a Xenoblade fan, because if you've played Xenoblade games before in the past, you know that content is a big thing, hundreds of hours of content. And Torna the Golden Country, you have to really stretch things out. If you want to hit 100 hours in that game, you really have to stretch things out quite a bit. you can get about 50 hours or so off the first playthrough doing everything, and it might be less if you're more efficient with that. And then there's a new game plus run, and it might take you some time, but max would be like 90 to 100 hours max with Torna, whereas Xenoblade 2, you're talking hundreds upon hundreds of hours of content. I know people with over 500 hours in terms of playtime with that game, especially with that battle arena that they have in there and all the different challenges. There's just so much stuff to do. So to me, it would be cool, like if you're looking at getting into Xenoblade, you can try out Torna the Golden Country first and beat that if you want to. That is the prequel origin story, and you're going to get through that quicker, right? There's not as much content, and then you can sink your teeth into Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and kind of learn the rest of what's happened from there, you know? Or you can play Xeno 2 and get through that, beat it, and then you can go to Torna the Golden Country, beat that, and then you can hop back into New Game Plus or hop back right where you left off in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So those are options for people out there, and that's my official word on it. So anytime anybody addresses this on PE Live or anything else, I will point them in the direction of this video. So what do you guys think about here when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles X and what I had to say here? What are your fondest memories about the game, and would you like a Nintendo Switch port of it? How are you feeling the chances are, even based off of what Takahashi has stated? Do you think that it's going to happen? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say on that, in addition to my thoughts on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 versus Torna the Golden Country, and how, to me, it's not really like either or. It's like you play both of them. It's not if, it's just when you play both of them, you know? So those are my thoughts. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for this RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.